Are crystals actually alive? You know, people throw that phrase around a lot, but what does it really mean? They don't breathe, they don't move, they don't think the same way that we do. So is this just kind of woo-woo nonsense, or is there something deeper going on inside the stones? Stay with me because today we're going to explore what science says, what shamans and witches know, and how you can connect to the hidden consciousness of crystals for yourself. Hey Wild Ones, I'm Emma Louise Dyson, earth medicine woman, shamanic witch and founder of Wild and Untamed. And on this channel, The Wild and Untamed Way, I share with you the old ways of witchcraft, earth medicine and magic that helps you to live closer to the raw rhythmic heartbeat of Mother Earth. So crystals have been a huge part of my path. I actually trained with the Gemological Institute of America. So I kind of love that place where science and spirit meet. The crystalline structures, the geology and the metaphysical side blended together. I think this is something that books never really go deep enough into, and I'm here for all of that. So crystals, they are one of those topics that people love to argue about, right? I have got this troll. I've blocked him now. He has a big crystal business, but he has been trolling all of my content. So anyway, each to their own. So some dismiss them as just rocks. Others treat them like they're little spirit pets. And the truth, of course, is that it's far richer than kind of either of those different extremes. So in this video, we're going to explore what science says about crystals and their growth, what shamans and witches know about the stone people, and how you can actually connect to that hidden consciousness of stones for yourself. And make sure you stick around until the end, because I've got something really special to share with you that will absolutely help to take you beyond YouTube. And while you're here as well, don't forget, hit the like, the subscribe, tap that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. So let's look at what it actually means to be alive. So science usually gives us a set of rules, right? And depending on who you ask, it is things like complexity, needing energy, the ability to grow, to reproduce, and to adapt to change. So they're kind of the rules of what it means to be alive, for something to be a living being. Now let's walk through these different rules with crystals in mind. Stay with me. So rule number one, complexity. Crystals don't just form randomly, right? They grow in these beautifully complex geometric structures. They have these perfect lattices, these repeating patterns. They have this order that seems to appear out of chaos, and they express energy in fascinating ways too. So think of pyroelectricity. This is when a crystal actually generates an electric charge from heat. Or something else which is fascinating, it's called triboluminescence, and this is where crystals literally spark and they light when they are struck. And you can do this at home. Please don't do it with your favorite crystals, because they may and will likely chip. But if you take two pieces of quartz and turn the lights off and you hit them together, you will see a spark, right? That is not simple, is it? That is complex. That is complex, ordered behavior. So rule number one, complexity of something being alive. Yeah, can we check that one off? Rule number two of being alive is the need for energy. So do crystals eat? Not in the same way that we do, but they absolutely take in energy. through heat, pressure, the elements in their environment. And if you've ever grown crystals in a jar or had one of those kits in the 80s, I'm showing my age now, you'll have seen it, right? They feed from the solution around them until they actually take form. So rule number 2, they need energy. We can agree that that's a check, right? Rule number 3, growth. This one's really obvious. Crystals grow. Over millions of years, they form octahedrons, clusters, points, whole caves of amethysts, right? They're not static, they're unfolding. So we can check that too, yeah? Rule number 3 is reproduction. Now, crystals don't go on dates, right? We're not going to see that happen anytime soon, but they do multiply. A single crystal can fracture and new growth spreads from just that one piece or those little pieces. Whole clusters can form from one original seed point, and that is how we end up with caves of quartz or geodes that are lined with thousands of points. So reproduction, yeah, we can check that one off as well. And rule number 5, and this one is fascinating, adaptation. Now, crystals change to survive their environments. I'll give you an example. Obsidian. Obsidian doesn't transmute negative energy, it absorbs it, holds on to it. So I have literally seen pieces crack or break when they're carrying too much energy if they haven't been cleansed. And in laboratories, crystallographers have submerged stones into salt solutions and they have actually watched the stones clarify. It's as though the crystal itself is responding to the conditions. So adaptation, I think we can probably check that one as well, right? So if you run through those 5 rules of life, crystals actually check more boxes than most people realize. And here's the thought that I'll leave you with for now. The only reason they don't seem alive is because they are moving at a pace that we can't perceive. If you sped up 1,000,000 years into a time lapse, you'd watch them form and grow and feed and multiply and break and heal and adapt and all of those things. And through that lens, you might say, yes, crystals are alive. They're simply alive at a different pace to us. All the feels. So let's move beyond the science for a moment, because crystals aren't just physical formations, right? They're also spiritual allies. In shamanic and indigenous traditions, they're often called the stone people, and they're seen as the elders of the earth, the first beings to form and the ones that hold the memory of this planet in their bodies. And I'll give you an example. Zircon, not to be confused with cubic zirconia, is one of the oldest gemstones on planet Earth. It actually began its life the moment the Earth began to spin on its axis. And I always wonder what stories that zircon would be able to tell us if it could speak, right? So think about this, right? The very ground beneath us holds layers of memory. So the top layer is rich and organic. We've got soil, we've got plants, we've got all the decomposed matter that feeds new life. But if you go deeper, then you reach a layer that isn't organic, that doesn't decompose. And this is the bones, the fossils, the stones, the crystals. And this layer is like the Earth's memory bank. It holds the remnants of what has come before us. And here's something I find absolutely fascinating. There is a crystal called apatite, and it contains phosphorus. Phosphorus is the same mineral that's in our teeth and in the bones of dinosaurs as well. So when I hold a piece of apatite, I often wonder, what if this stone has literally absorbed the minerals of ancient creatures? What if part of its its structure was formed from the remains of beings that walked the earth millions of years ago. Like, imagine holding a crystal that carries the memory of dinosaurs within it. How cool is that? And that's what I mean when I talk about crystals as conscious. It's not that they think the way that we do, but they hold memory. They are living archives of the planet itself. And when we connect with them, we're not just connecting with their energy in the present moment, we're touching something that stretches back through time, through layers of earth, through all that has come before us. So the question then becomes, how do you actually experience this for yourself? How do you move beyond just believing or not believing in crystal consciousness and you start to feel it directly? The first thing that we need to do is to slow down and to pay attention. You don't need a huge crystal collection. You don't need, rare or expensive pieces. I need to say, give myself that advice too. But a single crystal can take you deeper than an entire shelf if you really commit to working with it. And here's something really important as well. Not every stone that you pick up has this crystalline structure. Pebbles, flint, river rock, slate, these are stones and they absolutely hold memory and earth energy. But crystals are different because they have their repeating geometric lattice, which means that they don't just kind of sit there, right? They store, they amplify, and they transmit energy. And that is why quartz runs everything from clocks to satellites. Quartz is there. So if you want to connect with crystal consciousness, here are a few ways to start. First of all, I know it's boring, meditation. It's not boring. I love meditation, but I feel like meditation is the answer to everything. So hold your crystal, breathe, and notice, and see if there's any subtle shifts in your body, any warmth, any tingling, any emotion, any imagery that comes up. You can also use body placement. So you could place a crystal on your heart, on your third eye, wherever it feels right to do so, and just notice how your energy responds to that. You can also sleep with a crystal under your pillow and keep a dream journal. Some amazing crystals for dreamwork are amethyst, labradorite. People say, oh, I've got amethyst in my bedroom. It helps me to sleep. I find amethyst is really activating and I have absolutely insane dreams. But these are crystals that are good for this, and you can keep a dream journal. And my favorite way is through shamanic journeying. This is my favorite way to connect with any stone, any herb, anything that I'm working with. And you don't need a drum or a rattle. I mean, you can drum, but it's as powerful to use a drumming track. There's plenty of them on YouTube, or even a guided meditation just to help you slip into that trance state, and then ask to meet the spirit of your crystal and just see what comes through. And let me share something really personal with you. So when my dad died, I had a rose quartz heart. It's making me quite emotional. I had a rose quartz heart next to my bed. And those raw nights when, grief would catch me, we go to bed and suddenly you're thinking about everything, right? And I'd find I was crying myself to sleep. And I would hold this crystal against my chest. And I still do this now when I'm dealing with stuff and I just want to feel supported. But it didn't just feel like a rock to me. I felt like I was being hugged and soothed and held. It had this real nurturing energy that kind of softened those sharp edges of loss that we experience. And that was really the first time I physically experienced the spirit of a crystal. Not just the idea of energy, but actually the direct feeling, this sense of being supported by it. And that's really the heart of working with crystal consciousness, not every stone will feel nurturing. Some will feel fiery. Some are grounding. Some are, catalytic, right? But if you sit with them long enough, their medicine will reveal themselves to you. And the thing I've learned is that crystals don't exist in isolation either. Yes, each one has its own consciousness, its own medicine, but their power is amplified when we weave them together with other living beings, with plants, with the elements. So let me give you an example. Think of it this way. Quartz on its own is all around clarity and focus and amplification. Mugwort on its own is around visionary and liminal and dream opening, right? Air is the element of breath and thought and communication. When you bring these together, quartz plus mugwort plus air, suddenly you've created this current of energy that carries vision and messages and insight. Does that make sense? Or hematite with nettle and the element of fire. On their own, each of them is protective, but woven together, they become this shield of fierce resilience. And this is what I mean when I talk about earth medicine. I'm an earth medicine woman. It is not just crystals or just herbs or just working with elemental magic. It's the threads that weave them together into something greater. And that's exactly what I teach in my Wild Thread certification. How to bring stone medicine, plant shamanism, elemental alchemy into one living practice. It is a path that doesn't just give you more tools to play with, but a way of weaving with the earth itself. So this is an exploration into the hidden life of crystals. And if that has lit something up in you today, then I would love to invite you to come and join me in the Wild Reawakening. What is this? It is a free 5-day experience that I'm running from the 1st of September 2025, where we're going to be going deeper, not just into stone medicine, but into plant shamanism, elemental alchemy, soul retrieval, living in rhythm with the earth. You'll actually get to work with me live over 5 days. It is completely free, and the link is down below in the description. So come and join us. And if you already know that you want to dive even further into this work, I've just mentioned the Wild Thread, but I've opened up the wait list for the Wild Thread now. It's my earth medicine certification. It's a practitioner level training where you'll weave together crystals and plants and the elements into a living, breathing path of magic and healing. And everyone on the wait list will also get early access to some special bonuses when the doors open. So definitely get your name on there if that is calling to you right now. And of course, if you found value in this video, please hit like, subscribe, tap the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And let me know in the comments, do you feel that crystals are alive? I would love to hear your experience and your thoughts. Until next time, stay cool, everybody. I'll see you in the next video.